Today on the Outer World Workshop, we're making an Andor Inspired panel. Hey Outer Worlders, and welcome to the Outer World Workshop. And today we're making an Andor Inspired panel. And this panel is for a challenge that was posted on the Room Builders group on Facebook. So like a great student that I am and following instructions, I left it for the last moment, just a couple of days before the deadline. And I decided to make two panels. So I'm short on time. I wanted to make two panels because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to make. And I also wanted to dabble again in other materials and other stuff. And knowing myself, instead of making something simple because I'm short of time, I wanted to complicate myself. And I wanted to make it mechanical, wanted to put some movement in my panel. And the panel that I submitted for the challenge is inspired by the droid computer on the Fondor Hallcraft that belongs to Luthen. So first, let's see the panel that I submitted for this challenge. So I started out with a Galaxy's Edge Coca-Cola bottle, peeled off the label, and made a mock-up out of cardboard so I can see if the mechanism that I wanted to put into the panel worked. Then I started gluing supports for the base and so the mechanism can work with the bottle. I cut out the visor part that's going to hold in the front part of the Coca-Cola bottle so I can use it as a template to cut it out of 1/8 PVC. So then I heated it up on both sides so it could get pliable, so I can mold it to make it round or circular as I need it for that visor part. I checked it that it fit correctly and I glued up all the parts. I put some screws into the back portion of the mechanism so I can screw this into the wood. I put 2 pieces of wood on the back side of the mechanism so it could be easier to just set in place. Then using the back portion of a bubblegum roll, I put a screw in so I can put the back portion of a foam brush and made a hole so we can put it on our microwave oven motor. It's a little bit slower than I wanted, but it works for now. Then I finish up all the other parts of the mechanism that holds the bottle into place. I sand down all the parts and glued everything together, getting everything ready for paint. But before I paint anything, I do one more test run to see how it moves. And it works. I drilled out all the holes for the LEDs before I put out the first coat of paint, marking everything down, and also drilled out the holes for the buttons. So I can attach the lens to the bottom part of the bottle. I cut out a piece of PVC panel. It was very hard to mark the circle because I couldn't use a pencil or a marker, so I used this crayon that's for furniture, but you can also use a cheap lipstick and just pressed it against the PVC panel, and there we have the mark. We cut it out, check for fit, and prepare everything by sanding and gluing all the parts together. That also meant gluing on some greeblies. Since this is a smaller sphere, all I could use was a lens that I had from a security camera. After I painted all the pieces, the back panel had 2 different colors, and I taped it off and then hit it with the base coat. When I peeled off some of the tape, some of the paint came off because I was impatient and just didn't let it dry. I tried touching it up with a little bit of paint there, but it didn't work, so I taped it and painted it. Now I'm using these Christmas lights, battery operated, because it's a temporary thing just for the challenge, but this will later be installed in my room and I will change all the LEDs out. Put in the buttons, put on the mechanism, and then pinstriping. Because what would a panel be without pinstriping? So this panel has some cables coming out of the lens. So I just took some 18-2 electrical cable, drilled some holes, glued it in, separated them, and just glued it to the back of the panel. Attach the controls and the batteries for the lights. I just used some Velcro on the backpacks and on the back of the panel. And now comes the weathering. I used some of the base paint. It's really household paint, and also water-soluble oil paints, and weathered the whole panel. This is what it looks like. There's my Andor Inspired panel build. This panel is going to be later on incorporated in my room build, so that's why I did a little bit different, because I already have the placement for it, and it's something that you guys haven't seen yet. So that will be coming up later on. So I invite you guys to hit that bell so you can get notified when it does come up. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to subscribe and share this video so other people can also subscribe to the channel if they want to. And remember to hit that like, because it helps us out a lot. So it's like basic woodworking, a little bit of electronics, but it's really like ready-made stuff. Later on, I'm going to change out these lights for another light. But to make it self-contained, I use these lights, and also to help anybody that wants to make a panel can also make a panel with moving lights without using an Arduino or anything like that. I like to make it as simple as possible. And also because I myself do not know how to use an Arduino. That's something I have to get into. But that's a story for another day. If you haven't noticed, we have this new t-shirt in my shop. There's a link on the bottom, so you can order this t-shirt. For those of you that don't like sanding like myself, that we do it because we have to, this t-shirt is for you. So you can go down in the description box, click that link, and get your own t-shirt. So I also want to mention, if you haven't noticed, we have a new intro, and all the art was made by a good friend and co-worker and very talented Martini Art on Instagram. So I want to thank you very much, Mare, for this art. I love it. She also does all my art for my t-shirts. So you can find her on Instagram and just hit her up if you're interested in any type of cartoon or drawing work. So once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you once again, and I hope to see you in the next one where we make something out of this world. is coarse, it's irritating, and it gets everywhere. So, that's not what it says.